The night shift on Epsilon Orion Station was usually quiet, too quiet for someone like David Hale, a former cargo pilot turned janitor who had crash-landed more times emotionally than he ever had in a real ship. Mopping metallic floors for minimum credits wasn't glamorous, but it kept him breathing, and breathing was a luxury he had learned not to take for granted. Most nights, he listened to the soft rumble of plasma engines humming through the station's ribs, the distant chatter of late-night merchants, and the gentle thumps of cleaning drones that, ironically, he was paid to supervise. It was a routine, a dull one, but safe. Until he met the kid. David first noticed the small alien child sitting alone behind a pillow in the food wing, legs curled in, thin arms wrapped around themselves. The creature's skin shimmered faintly, silver blue with soft bioluminescent flecks. Clearly royal lineage, David thought at first. He had seen pictures of the Aurelians, but never met one. Yet this child was alone. No guards. No attendants. No shimmering royal crest. Just a lonely kid with wide, fearful eyes that darted whenever someone passed too close. David paused mid-mop. "Hey, kid," he said gently. "You lost." The child flinched, shaking their head rapidly, refusing to speak. They just stared at the half-eaten sandwich in David's hand. He had skipped dinner again. The sandwich was supposed to be his break meal. But the kid was trembling. David sighed. "You hungry?" The child swallowed, hesitated, then nodded once, very slowly. David held out the sandwich. "Go on. I've got more where that came from." The alien child reached out with tiny, glowing fingers and took the food as if accepting a priceless treasure. They ate quietly, slowly, watching David with cautious gratitude. "What's your name?" David asked. The child touched their throat, then shook their head. "Couldn't speak? Or wouldn't?" "All right," David murmured. "No pressure." He gave them more leftovers from his lunchbox, an apple slice, a protein bar, and half a roll, and the child ate every crumb. He thought that was the end of it. He was wrong. 1 week later, the child kept returning. Always around midnight. Always silent. David began bringing extra food just in case. He never pried, never asked where they came from, never asked why they were alone. He just talked, small talk at first, then stories about Earth sunsets, his old cargo routes, the time he delivered a shipment of robotic llamas to a moon colony that didn't order them. The child didn't laugh, but their bioluminescence pulsed softly, a sign of comfort. Until the 7th night. David was cleaning the main docking corridor when he saw them again, standing right in his path, holding a tiny metallic object. The kid placed it in his hand. It was a crest. A Royal Aurelian crest. Before David could react, the station lights flickered red. Alert! Imperial landing. Clear docking bay. "Oh," David muttered. "Did you escape or something?" The child trembled violently. And then the unmistakable thunder of metal boots echoed through the hall. The soldiers arrive. A squad of towering Aurelian royal guards marched down the corridor, armor shimmering like molten silver. Their captain, a stern-faced giant with 4 glowing eyes, stepped forward. "Human," the captain boomed. "Where is the child?" David froze. The kid clutched the back of his shirt, hiding. I don't know what you mean," David lied. The captain's eyes glowed brighter. "The Emperor's offspring has been missing for 7 cycles. We trace the signal here. Scent and energy signatures confirm their presence." David's heart slammed against his ribs. The Emperor's child. The Aurelians ruled half the quadrant. Their emperor was rumored to vaporize planets for less than a kidnapping. The child pressed the crest into David's palm again, urgently. He understood. They trusted him. Him, a janitor nobody noticed. The captain growled. Step aside. We will scan the area. Wait, David said, standing straighter than he had in years. The kid, they are scared. At least promise you won't hurt them. A ripple of shock crossed the soldiers. No one talked back to royal guards. The captain stepped closer. You presume to negotiate with the Empire? Yeah, David said, voice shaking. Yeah, I guess I do. A silence thick as vacuum hung between them. Then a soft, chiming sound broke the tension. The child stepped out from behind David and looked up at the captain. Their bioluminescence pulsed in a gentle, rhythmic pattern. Aurelian coded speech. The captain froze, listening carefully. Then he knelt. My prince, he whispered. David almost dropped the mop. Prince. Not just royalty, heir to the entire Aurelian Empire. The child turned toward David and tapped his chest twice, Aurelian gesture for trust. The captain watched, awe on his face. You fed the imperial heir? The captain asked. David said, yes. You comforted him. I mean, he looked hungry. The captain stood slowly, his voice softer. The Aurelian prince has not spoken, or signaled, since the empress passed. He fled the palace. Many believed him unable to bond with anyone. David blinked. He bonded with me because I gave him a sandwich. The captain nodded gravely. A powerful gesture. Food given freely is sacred in our culture. It signifies protection. David felt lightheaded. Then another alarm blared. Unauthorized ships approaching. Pirate code detected. The captain cursed. They followed us. Enemy raiders seek to capture the prince. David looked at the kid. The child's glow dimmed with fear. Not on my station, David muttered. The attack. Gunfire rocked the hallway as pirate mercenaries stormed the docking bay, firing particle rifles. David dove behind a crate, grabbing the kid and shielding them. Royal guards returned fire, silver beams slicing through the air. Get the prince to safety, the captain yelled. Human, take him through the service tunnels. David's mouth dropped. Me? I'm a janitor. You know the station better than any of us. Okay. Fair. He scooped the kid into his arms and sprinted down the maintenance corridors as explosions shook the walls. The child clung to him, trembling. You're okay, David whispered, panting. I've got you. He had no weapons, no armor, just a mop handle strapped to his belt. But he had something more important. A reason to run faster than he ever had in his life. Behind them, pirates roared, chasing through the smoke-filled halls. David slid through a narrow maintenance hatch, sealed it behind him, then hurried toward the emergency shuttle bay. Blast of fire hit the walls around him. A mercenary lunged forward. David swung the mop handle like a bat, cracking the attacker in the jaw. That, he gasped, was for interrupting my shift. He reached the emergency hangar. A small evacuation pod sat ready. He placed the child inside. Stay low, he said. But instead of climbing in, the kid grabbed his wrist and pulsed rapidly. No, David said softly. I can't go with you. They need to get you home. The child pulsed again, harder. Don't worry, David whispered, touching the kid's forehead. You're going to be okay. He slammed the door shut and activated the launch. The pod blasted out of the station moments before a pirate ship fired a missile straight at it, only to be intercepted by a beam of blinding silver light. The royal flagship had arrived. Aftermath. Hours later, David sat on the docking ramp, exhausted, covered in dust and soot. The captain approached, helmet tucked under one arm. "The prince is safe aboard the flagship," he said. "He is speaking, truly speaking, for the first time since his mother's death." David smiled tiredly. The captain continued, "The emperor has sent a message for you." David's eyes widened. "He extends his gratitude," the captain said, "and requests your presence at the imperial palace as the prince's appointed protector." David blinked. "Protector? Me? I'm just a janitor." The captain bowed slightly. "To our people, you are more. The prince chose you. That is enough." David exhaled, stunned. The prince stepped out from behind the captain, glowing brighter than ever. He held out a small silver medallion, the Aurelian symbol of honor, and placed it into David's hands. "Guess I'm getting a promotion," David murmured. The prince smiled, actually smiled, and David realized his life was about to change forever.